Welcome back, and today we are playing out the F-106 that just got dropped with the event. Straight up, I think this is one of the better event vehicles that we've gotten in a while. It's made for Era B. It's not completely game breaking, although 9.3 is a little bit questionable considering how fast it is. Now, the missiles aren't really all that special. The aim for Fs, while they pull decently hard, have absolutely zero range. This guy is about to shoot an aim for G at me. 1.2 kilometers, I'm going barely mag, and it's not even close to reaching me. It's about the same as the old Red Top, with even less range, and they don't have a proxy fuse, so they actually need to direct hit people, making this a lot less likely to happen, making it also very inconsistent. You do have an HMD, which is very welcome, and the flight performance, while it's questionable, it's not that bad. It's insanely fast with good acceleration, and while this is not on par with something like the F-104 for example, you actually can maneuver a little bit. And the retention, it's a delta, don't expect too much from it, but especially at higher speeds you can tell the burn isn't that bad. Now be careful once you get below like 750, it starts to pull really hard and you will shit your speed away incredibly fast. I mean, look at this. Yes, I dropped a little bit of throttle, I'm trying to get position, but the retention really catches you off guard. High speed, perfectly fine. The second you hit that threshold, it will hit you in the face with an entire brick. You are not gonna be enjoying it, and if you happen to be going vertical in that maneuver, you lose speed even quicker of course, your plane will start to neck G, and I'll show you that in a little bit. You can tell here that when I'm flat with the horizon, the plane complies perfectly well with everything you ask of it. It is a little bit floppy, the rudder is kind of finicky, and it feels a little bit like a Mirage in that sense. Now, the Mirage of course has magics, which are incredibly good, and here you have the aim 4s, and the aim 4s are not it. They don't have any range, they don't have a proxy, they take a little bit to get going, so there's a very small sweet spot to really use them, but they are a gimmicky weapon and they have their uses. But you need to be careful that you need to make a conscious decision whether you want to use your gun or your missiles, because you cannot use them at the same time, or at least at the exact same time. You need to close the bomb bay in order to operate the gun, because the mechanism is actually blocking the gun. And it's the same thing when you have your gear deployed, but unless you're flying around with your gear deployed that rips off at about 400, I doubt this will ever really come into play. The way I play this thing is really try to find people that are somewhat secluded, and you can try to 1v1 them. The 1v1 performance is honestly pretty decent, and it's honestly pretty dynamic. Some planes you can simply just hold the rate, keep at 850, 900, and you'll eventually just drain them all speed considering the planes you're going up against very often. And other planes you can just hammer that elevator and try to get position early on. The high AOA mobiles, you want to try and get on as quickly as possible. You don't want to go into a raid where they keep pulling into the shot. You are massive, you are easy to hit, and they will probably hit you. So try to get on that 6 as quick as possible. And in the head-ons, you can tell right here, the missile often just doesn't know where it is. So I opt to just use the Vulcan in the head-on. It's pretty consistent. The gun damage is a little bit iffy right now, but that's for basically every plane. But shooting those missiles in the head-on basically never has resulted in me getting a kill. And while I haven't done the most amount of matches, I've also tried it in a custom battle, and it's just a very niche weapon, which is honestly pretty decent if you run into guys that are going pretty slow. And not everyone has chaff at this BR, and not everyone has RWR at this BR. So it's actually possible, if people are going slow, you shoot a missile at them, they think they can just flare it because you're just an F-106. And then the missile misses. If they are going slow, these missiles are basically guaranteed kills. They pull extremely hard and they are pretty slow, which is actually a bit of a benefit when you're shooting at people that are going slow, because it's incredibly hard to dodge them. I'm just trying to do slashing attacks on this little furball over here. I'm not trying to go too slow. Keep in mind, I don't have flares. I bleed a lot of speed if I go too slow, and I can't dogfight all of them at once. Now, all of these guys have good missiles other than the F-106 basically. The two hunters are the F-58s, which have AIM-9Js, and the same thing goes for the T2, which has AIM-9Ps. And I don't really want to do anything with those missiles, so I just try to keep my altitude, try to keep my speed, try to separate them. You can tell right here, they all kind of scatter, and the T2 goes for me. Now I dodge the gun, and I just keep turning, because I know that that F-106 that I crit earlier is coming back for more. So I try to go underneath him, see if he wants to go for the shot, and if he does, there's a very big likelihood that he ends up crashing, or just burns all of his speed away. And I'm also kind of scared of the other guys turning back around to come and kill me, which is exactly what they do. So he comes head on with me, we shoot a small burst, we get a crit. He is still not dead, however, and he is gonna be going back to the runway. We then have Hunter number 2, which is Comrade Stalin, who is now being pressured by one of my teammates. But they're all kind of clumping up, which means it's kind of difficult for me to get a good solution, because I can't really be overly aggressive, considering my missiles aren't incredibly powerful. These guys actually have flares, and the one guy that doesn't have flares, guess what? He's already crit. I can probably just gun him down for free anyway. But the two hunters are relatively annoying because they manage their speed, even if they aren't trying to, because the plane just is built that way. Comrade Stalin looks to be back to the runway. Indo pilot is also crit, looks to be going back to the runway as well. So I just thought, well, let's give you a little bit of a sneak peek on this missile, 2-kilometer launch, and just look at how long it takes for that missile to reach him. And keep in mind, he's flying so slow that he can actually obstruct his gun with his front gear leg. The missiles are really a small niche tool that can be useful sometimes, but it's really like an AIM-9B, but I do think it's slightly more useful than that in some scenarios. Now, the AIM-9B is better for killing AFK pilots, whereas the AIM-4 actually has some uses when people are paying attention. Granted, they don't have flares and aren't going particularly quick. It's a niche weapon, just like the 9B, but I think it's fine for 9.3. Although I do think that the plane itself is slightly too low of a BR, but that's the same thing for all of 9.3, 9.0 and 9.7. It's a compressed mess that you can basically not balance properly. Now here I merged with the hunter, the guy that I crit earlier, and I'm kind of looking around because I know that they're all kind of bunched up. I don't know where they are exactly, so I just think to myself, well, fuck it, let's just go head on, let's gun this guy down the same way I did earlier, and this time we get a severe instead of a crit, and he goes straight back to the hangar. Decal in the description. Go head on with Comrade Stalin, who was flaming me in chat because, well, he wanted to get the F-106, and if this game ended early enough, he would have actually finished the task. I'm terribly sorry, but I'm trying to work and I don't have much time. So when I see a carry match, I am going to be taking off and I'm going to be trying to win. And I know this guy is fuming at me, so I know he's probably going to be a little bit impatient, which means that I'm going to play slightly different around him. So here we are going towards the ground units because I thought someone was ground pounding here. I'm trying to look for someone, but there's really nothing here at all. And it turns out he's actually ground pounding on the small side that is on the far left of my plane. Now I know that the hunter is running me down. He really wants to kill me. So I'm going to try to just send it for him because I think that at this point we are going to be alone for a little bit. Now I don't want to push it too long because I don't really feel like getting 1v3'd in this plane. But as of right now, we're somewhat alone. And I think to myself, well, let's just run these hands and see if we can get something done. AV-8 gets a ground unit kill. He's across the map. He's roughly where I'm looking right now. I don't know where the MiG-23 is, but he's been bombing the entire match. So I think, well, let's just send it for the fight and just pull straight in. I'm going about 1,000 on the merge here. I'm going quicker than him, which is kind of a bad thing. So I pull out of the way and try to get behind him as quick as possible by stamping on the elevator. Now at this point, I'm still on decently high fuel, but I managed to get the shot relatively quickly. Now, he is going quicker than me. He's going to be outrating me. I'm only going 500. If I touch my controls, I will piss my speed away. So I need to be careful here that I don't get completely outrated. And I'm hoping that this guy will just continue this turn up. So I try to pull lead. He pulls out of the way and I just shat away every advantage that I have. This is not sustainable. I need to get out of here as quick as I can. The longer I stay in there, the bigger the chance that I will die. Now I see that he's coming around a little bit quicker than expected, and I'm well within range for the AIM-9J, and he's likely going to be shooting it. He does, and I see this perfect mountain over here that we're going to use to just block the missile. A little bit lucky, but of course sometimes luck has to come my way. You still have to use it, and we did. Missile is gone. He shot a second one off, so I know he doesn't have any left, and the likelihood of him hitting me with his guns are pretty small, so I know I can be a little bit more aggressive, and then the Yak-38 appears. Now if this hunter had stayed and had been a little bit more patient, he would have absolutely cooked me. Luckily he is mad enough to the point where he isn't actually going to run me down, so we can now 1v1 the Yak-38, and if that guy appears out of nowhere, I die. Our 60s are not going to be dodgeable if he gets within range, and the Yak-38 is pretty quick with good acceleration. In terms of an annoying support fighter, that thing basically counters this. But one-on-one, it stands absolutely zero chance. I just need to get a bit of separation, need to make sure that he can't shoot the R60 at me. And if I go into a straight head-on, it's very likely that he won't be able to kill me whatsoever. We shoot the missile off anyway. I know that wasn't gonna hit him probably, but at least it spoofs the R60 in case he wanted to shoot it from like 600 meters. And now all we really need to do is just hammer the elevator and get straight onto his 6. Now I wanted to use the missile here. I can of course use the gun, but he's going super slow. And again, I just wanted to show you one of the niches where it can be usable, and just look at how slow that thing is. But if it does hit, it does hit pretty well. And now we have the AV-8 left, the MiG-23 that is completely bombing his mind out. He's not really paying attention at all. He could be very annoying together with something like a Hunter. Luckily he isn't. AV-8 pulls in for the last second head-on and then decides to go for the bombing base. So he's just going to be running away as well. I'm going to be trying to chase him, but I don't have much fuel left, so I'm going to be running him down without the afterburner. It's going to take me about a minute and a half. So I get on him, I try to shoot him down. He dodges last second, and I think, well, let's just shoot a missile at him, because he hasn't been pre-flaring. Maybe he isn't really paying attention, or is decently slow in the head. Or I get lucky, and he sends it into the ground. Absolutely perfect. That won me the game. Because now I don't need to worry about him. If he had just stamped on the elevator, stalled himself out, maybe try to just be slightly annoying, especially if he still has those missiles left, and I have to assume that he does, I need to take a big precaution and make sure that he doesn't have the ability to shoot an AIM-9G at me. But he ends himself, and now I'm free to 1v1 the Hunter on 3.5 minutes of fuel. I tried to shoot in the head-on, but the bomb bay was open, so he closed it on the way up. And I'm using no afterburner here to try to get position. I'm very low on fuel, so even if he goes into the raid, I should be able to decently easily out dogfight this guy. He starts sending it. I'm gonna go up here, and this is where the stall caught me off guard first. It started to neck-G, and I thought, if this keeps neck-G'ing, I'm gonna end up in front of the guy. Luckily, it's not as bad as something on the J7W, so I was actually able to stall directly on top of him, on top of his loop, and slot in directly behind him. And now I'm going 600. There is no chance the Hunter's gonna be outpulling me here. I'm way too close, I'm way too fast, and he honestly doesn't have the energy himself. Now, here's the MiG-23. He wanted to take off and bomb 2 bases, and I said sure. The issue is that I'm on 1 minute of fuel, and I just thought, well, let's just give it to him. I've already won, and whether I get the kill or win doesn't really matter to me. In my head, I've already won the match, so I'm just gonna let this guy go get his bombing points, and then hope that he's actually nice enough to the point where he bails out and gives me the kill, because I am not gonna be able to kill him once he gets to the bases. So as that plays out, my verdict on this plane, I think it's perfect for an event vehicle. It's kind of niche, it's interesting, it's definitely unique, and it has some quirks. I think it's a decently balanced plane. It's not fantastic, it is not perfect, it's definitely not game changing, and the main issue really is that it's just too fast. Compression keeps getting worse. SU-7s, Yak-28s at 9.0. You don't want all these planes in this bracket, because it makes a lot of planes completely unplayable. And against 8.3s, 8.7s, and even most of the 9.0s, this thing will absolutely destroy you. Now luckily this guy actually did what he promised, and he gives me the kill. Thank you very much for that. GG's. Even though Comrade Stalin probably won't agree with that. Thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one.